up, guys? Welcome back to another video. As you can see, I got the new A21 Bravo shirt on. Break it till you make it in the back. We got a couple other shirts. You can probably see it in the merch shelf underneath the video. So if you guys are interested in any of the A21 Bravo stuff, I made a few things. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get started on the rest of the video. I got the drive shaft in today. The guy finished the drive shaft, so that's really exciting. And I'm going to try to put this freaking thing back together pretty soon. So I should be able to get it pretty close. A lot of it done tonight or today, whatever we want to call it, and hopefully drive it this weekend. Today is basically Friday by the time you guys are going to see this video. And let's get this thing out of the garage. So one of the things I'm doing right now is I moved my oil pressure switch. This is just like a on-off yes-no switch for the gauge, because that's how the Ranger gauge works. So I moved it over to here, and it's tucked up behind here, so I'm gonna have to extend my wire that I ran. But that kind of prevents me from having to keep it back here. It's very hard to get at when it's back behind the intake like this. So this is just for the oil pressure sending unit. It's a M16 by 1.5 to a -4 fitting. And I run the -4 line over to a separate -4 over here, and I just splice it in over here, tucked away. And now if there's ever any issue with this switch or anything like that, I don't have to worry about it. And if I feel like there's less of a chance of a leak there than here, so if there is a leak here at any one of these with this $3 fitting that I used, then I can service this thing nicely without having to pull the intake off. Okay, we're gonna have the 6-year-old and the 7-year-old explain how an automatic transmission transmits power from the engine to the wheels.
This is the engine, and this is the other piece.
The transmission.
Yeah, and then they get stuck together because of the fluid, and then fluid in it.
They make spin and make friction, and then the car runs, and then it moves.
Okay, so what are these called?
Friction discs.
Friction discs, okay, or they're called clutches, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did get the 4-port steam vent on there. I did switch to the 4-port steam vent. I don't know, I switched to this after, I believe it was the first time that I broke like everything on the driver's side. And that was when you go back a while, I bumped the radiator cap off. So I was installing blow-off valve. I accidentally bumped the radiator cap, and I verified it in the video. The radiator cap was tight when I started the video, and the radiator cap was loose when I ended the video with the blow-off valve installed. And I went to go test drive it, and like my first pull, and I had already been driving on the same tune for a while. My first pull that I did, it destroyed the driver's side. I broke 2 pistons and bent all the rods on this side, and these are the Gen 4 rods. And this was on like a 10-pound tune that I had already been driving for a while. So after that, I was kind of thinking, okay, there's heat and extra stuff that's happening. So especially with the pressure not being held in the cooling system. So I wanted to switch to the 4-port system. And it seems like all of the stuff that I've seen, or going back and researching and just looking at people's builds, a lot of people that are successful are using the 4-port steam vents. So, and even on engines that didn't come with the 4-port steam vents. So it's not something that people talk about a lot, but it's something that I've noticed in a lot of other videos, is people using the 4-port steam vent on like a 2004 or 2005 engine. These didn't come with that, so they're adding it for a reason. I guess that's my hunch, my hypothesis. So essentially I'm thinking that it's just evacuating the heat from the back end a lot better and not trapping air in the cylinder head and causing extra heat and detonation and broken shit. And yeah, and I'm going to put the intake on. It's going to be an amazing thing because I feel like once I get the intake on, that is like a big step. It's a really easy step, but it feels like it's a big thing because after that it's like just plug stuff in. So let's get that on. Okay, so back in the day, like a little while ago, a year ago or so, I had an issue where the truck was running, seemed like everything was going fine, and all of a sudden it wasn't running fine. One day it just poof, shut off, and then it actually broke my upper intake hose. At the time I had like a little plastic fitting from a Jetta on here. It actually pressurized the coolant system so much that it broke the plastic fitting on here, and I didn't know what was going on. I knew something obviously weird happened, and I decided to take the pan off, oil pan off, and look in the bottom of it and look up underneath, and I actually found a broken piston. So through that broken piston discovery, I pulled the passenger side head off and then realized that I had a bolt, something that got inside the engine, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I talked to my kids, and my son at the time actually ended up telling me that when we were out here someday playing, he put a bolt inside the engine and didn't tell me about it. And I'm kind of careless, don't really give a shit half the time. And you would think I would learn after how many times of doing this that I should just tape the intake ports up. That would be like a very easy solution. But while I'm out here working, a lot of the times I'm by myself. Sometimes the kids are out here. When they are out here, I'm very careful watching what they're doing when they're up on the truck, because they do go up on the truck and I don't really care. I let them do it. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Everything is good. But once in a while, something happens. So I wanted to show you this. Long story short, so I usually go through and now I check everything. I always check everything. I check the intake ports on the heads before I put the intake on. And it's just a habit that I'm in now. And then passenger side, everything seems fine. Everything looks good. And then cylinder 7 on the back side. Look at what's down there. And I can barely see this one half the time. That's way tucked in the back. And sure as shit, there's a fucking bolt sitting right inside the intake. That looks like a oil pan bolt. So let's pull it out. All right, so let's stuff a little magnet down here. Yeah. Oh. You know what that is? Shit, I know what that is. That's one of these bolts for the head. That is funny. So when I was putting this together, I didn't mention this in the video, but when I was putting the heads back on, I was missing one of the bolts. I was missing one of these bolts. So I have a spare bolt bin that I have just a bunch of these extra bolts. And I grabbed an extra one and threw it back in, but I absolutely could not find this one. And now I found it. That makes sense, because it was in the fucking cylinder head. So this one, guys, is not on the kids. This one was me. First time it was the kids. Bolt through the engine, admitted. The screwdriver in the brake caliper, that was the kids. I got that on video. But this one was all me, and I accept full responsibility for it. Yeah, so that bolt was inside the intake. Honestly, I feel like I lost that bolt when I put the heads on the engine. So I didn't think that it fell in there. I have no idea how it got in there actually, but it's been in there since I put the heads on the engine. So I feel like during assembly, even if I would have put tape over the intake, I feel like it would have gave me a false sense of comfort that everything was okay. So since I broke the engine one time because the kids ran the bolt through the engine, every single time, right before I put the intake on, I will go through with a magnet and I will crawl up on top of there and I look inside the heads every single time. Even if I tape it, even if I know that nothing happened to it and nobody else was out here, I still jump on there and I look at it every single time just because I know what did happen when I thought nothing was wrong. And just like this time, something was wrong. I felt like nothing was wrong and something was wrong. So I feel like it's another good tidbit to share because you could easily fuck that up. Easily. Even though you do it a bunch of times, you could easily mess that up. Alright guys, so today is now the next day. I don't even know if I'm going to record, or I don't even know if I'm going to post or show the stuff that I recorded yesterday. Not really sure yet. Definitely on Struggle Street right now. If you ever watch Sloppy Mechanics and you see the dyno videos, he's got a Struggle Street sign on there. And if you don't know who Sloppy Mechanics is, get your shit together and go over there and check it out. But I'm definitely on Struggle Street trying to just do the basic shit. That's how it seems like it always goes. Like the big stuff for me is easy to do. The bigger things and modifying stuff and doing all this crazy shit is what I don't struggle with. But then what I struggle with, I think it's more of a mental thing, is just plugging wires in. It takes me forever to do it, and it seems like it takes me longer and longer every time I do it. Granted, I am also fixing things and changing things, and it just seems like all the really simple stuff that should be very fast because I've done it 100 times. It takes me longer every time I do it. I have no idea why. But that's where I'm at right now. So we pretty much got everything buttoned up and back together. So all the wires are on. This is just an absolute mess. So I think I'm less satisfied with the appearance of this every time I do it. Granted, it all works. It does work, but I'm just less satisfied with how it looks every time I do it and want to clean it up and make it better. So what I have left is I have to do the intercooler piping, put the starter on, and then do the flex plate bolts, and then fill fluids, oil, transmission fluid. My new transmission cooler and lines and fittings did come in today, so I'll be able to get all of that stuff buttoned up and should be able to drive it very soon. I didn't do the shifter yet, but I might go drive it before I put it in four-wheel drive, and if I really want to put it in four-wheel drive, I'll just crawl underneath with it off and do it by hand. So let's get started on that stuff. I'll come back after it's done. I don't need to show all that shit. Alright guys, moment of truth here. Got the new computer in there, reflashed the tune. That's the same one I had before, so it should, in theory, start and run. I still gotta put more transmission fluid in, so got the rear wheels raised up. I'm gonna start it, run it through the gears, rev it a little bit. Let's just do it. See if I put everything together right. I think my battery's dead. I did have it on the charger earlier too. This is kind of a weak battery to begin with. I had it on the charger and just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to die while I was trying to write it. Did to read the file and then write it a couple times, so that took like 10 minutes. So we'll let it charge up a little bit, see what we got. I think probably just battery. Come on, Bessie. Come on, Bessie. I'll let it charge a little bit. Guys, it is cold today, but we did get some snow. So the roads are going to be like perfect. That's the road. It's going to be perfect for some four-wheel drive testing. So this is awesome. It snowed last night, so I'm happy about that. I ran it a little bit. I'm gonna put some more transmission fluid in there. Cycled it through all the gears. I'm gonna dump some more fluid in. Don't worry about the smoke. It's just all the steam and stuff from the new wrap. Put all this new wrap and stuff on there, so that's what's steaming. Everything's burning off, and oil from touching everything. But wasn't any smoke or anything else at startup. No smoke coming out of the vents. I'm gonna dump some more fluid in it, and then probably start to let it run, get a heat cycle in it, and then hold it at like, I don't know, 1500, 2000 a little bit, kind of seat the rings and everything, and then we'll go drive it. Alright, so we're gonna go for a drive. I got the transfer case locked into 4 high, and I have the front hubs disconnected. I don't think I'm gonna drive very far, so I don't guess I don't wanna lay down on the ground. So if I have to, I might try it, disconnect it, put it in 2 high, and then go drive it and see the difference. But just means that the front drive shaft is gonna be driven all of the time, but disconnected from the front wheels now. So, which might be good, because I want to check that yoke and see if it's going to hit the oil filter, because it's like a 1/4 inch away from the oil filter, and I don't know if it's going to hit that thing. So I'm just going to go drive it like kind of around my area. Not going to hit like highway or anything, and let's do it. And it's spitting a bunch of snow up all over the heat wrap, so it's wet now. So we'll pick a nice spot here. We'll do a 4-wheel drive pull quick. So I'll turn around and unlock the hubs in that same spot, and we'll see the difference. I'm gonna try to go fast because my battery's about to die on this camera. Okay, boys, we're unlocked. I'll try to do the same thing. Make sure they unlock. Actually, seemed pretty good. Seemed like they were still locked. So it gets pretty squirrely. See there, it's just like complete spin. It's fucking working, guys. I'm gonna start to head back home. My trans temp's at like 160 right now. So it'll be very interesting to go underneath the truck and see how everything is. Because I had the crossover pipe, I want to see if it hit any of the exhaust. I want to see if the front drive shaft hit the oil filter. Turbo sounds good. And this tune is still pretty good too. I should put my seatbelt on. I'm being naughty. I always wear a seatbelt, guys, except for that time. All right, guys. So went for the first drive, came back. I'm gonna crawl underneath and check everything. I did feel when I was kind of in part throttle a little bit of vibration, maybe. Could just because the wheels were spinning too, but I do want to check the drive shaft. It didn't seem like it was doing it at all when the hubs were locked though. So maybe it's just that it's in 4 high and spinning the drive shaft and the differential's turning and junk. I don't know. I don't really know what it was, but it wasn't really too bad either way. So I did have a little bit of moisture accumulated. You can see it just like spitting the water up because I'm driving and stuff. And then my cooling fan wire, I'm gonna fix this thing and put this on a relay. I just had it, this is rigged up to my my blower because I don't have any air conditioning controls or blower controls. That's what it's on. So I use my fan, my blower fan. It turns my radiator fans on. But other than that, everything seems like it is working. So yeah, I'm gonna go underneath and check quick, and if that thing didn't hit the oil filter, I'll be pretty excited. All right, guys, I don't get excited about much, but I'm pretty excited about this. This thing's kind of cool and actually drives pretty nice in the snow. I can just feel like I can just drive it like a damn truck. So what I do want to do is get in and edit this video and get it up, because I know you guys have been waiting for this for a long time, but I do want to, like I keep saying, try to clean up some of the wiring, and then if I'm going to drive it at all in the winter, I do need to hook up the heater core. So I probably should have did that right away, but I'll come back and do it. I do got to build a blower box. I did have like a rigged up junk blower box that I used, like a coupler, and blew some stuff in there, and it worked for a little while last winter, but I want to actually maybe build one like out of aluminum and custom fit it in there and actually make it something usable, so I can drive it and actually stay outside in the winter with it. So especially if we're going to be taking it somewhere and trying to go ice racing or taking it to a lake or anything, I want to be able to spend, you know, multiple hours a day out with it, not freezing my beans off. So all right, guys, thank you for watching. Have a good one.